Jimmy Buffett makes a surprise stop at his Biloxi casino. Plus, National Guard troops make a splash with some special training. Good evening. I'm Christina Garcia in for Jeff and Rebecca tonight. This was a special night at the Pascagoula High Football Stadium. Instead of the cheers and excitement that normally begin a Friday night football game, there was silence. It was a time to remember two teammates who died at the beginning of summer. Carrie Grace joins us with the story.
Caleb Sweeten and Brandon Rich were killed in a knee-boarding accident in late May. Rich was a senior at Pascagoula and an accomplished athlete, having played both football and basketball. Sweeten would have been a junior this year, and playing on that field tonight had his life not been cut short. The night began with a moment of silence to remember Brandon Rich and Caleb Sweeten. The two are still missed by their classmates, and so much that a group of students painted a tribute for them on their chests. One of those friends is Jimmy Fondren. He was a pallbearer at Sweeten's funeral 3 months ago. Fondren says it still feels like it was yesterday.
It's every day you think about it. It doesn't leave. Never leaves. It's an everyday thing.
Caleb Sweeten wore number 39, and Brandon Rich wore number 8. Their teammates wanted everyone to remember that. Stickers with those special numbers adorned the Panthers' helmets. And on the field, something special. Black painted on the 39 and 8-yard lines are just one of the ways Pascagoula is remembering Caleb and Brandon. The Panthers athletic trainer is Joe Davis. He says the boys will forever hold a special place in the hearts of their teammates and the entire community.
This city came together, both black and white, for that one cause, and that was a testament of Brandon and Caleb. And I honestly feel that God chose them for a reason, and this city is showing that by the way we've rallied together.
As the team took the field, some somber moments, reminding everyone who they are playing for this season. The parents of both those boys were at the game tonight. They did not want to talk on camera, but were very thankful for the support everyone has shown.
Thank you, Carrie Grace. In Hancock County tonight, the search is on for the person who tossed a Molotov cocktail into a law office. The attack happened at Youth Court Judge Elise Dino's private practice office on Highway 603 in Waveland. Police say sometime Thursday night or early this morning, someone tried to burn down the office. The culprit threw a rock through the door, then the explosive made out of a soda bottle. Fortunately, the device failed. Police believe the attack is the result of a vendetta. Judge Dino says she has no idea who could be so angry at her.
I really don't. I mean, you know, we're gonna compose a list of who could be possible. Obviously, we're lucky that police involvement was so quick and swift, and they're working so hard. The feds are involved also. All I can do is try to be more careful and more mindful of the fact that there are people, there's someone out there who's not happy about me.
Anyone who might have seen any suspicious activity around the Highway 603 office building is asked to contact the ATF or the Waveland Police Department. Tonight, 2 bank robbery suspects are under arrest after one of them led authorities on a manhunt through Jackson County. Police say Donald and Heather Landrum are a husband and wife team from Fort Myers, Florida. Just after 9 this morning, authorities say Heather Landrum went into the First Bank in Ocean Springs, indicated she had a gun, and gave the teller a note demanding money. Police say Donald Landrum Jr. was waiting in a van outside. After the getaway, authorities spotted the van on I-10 in Moss Point. When the van got stuck on a ramp near Highway 63, police say the couple took off running. Heather Landrum was picked up right away, but law enforcers from all over Jackson County spent 7 hours searching for Donald Landrum. Then about 4:15, he was captured in the swamps off 63, not far from a motel. A state trooper snapped these pictures as Landrum was taken into custody. Tonight, he's in the Ocean Springs jail, along with his wife. Narcotics unit across the Mississippi Gulf Coast went out early this morning in an attempt to round up more than 40 narcotics violators in Harrison County. Sheriff Melvin Brissolera tells us the suspects they are looking for are reportedly sold illicit drugs and prescription drugs to undercover police officers. Investigators were able to track down 13 of the suspects, but the rest are still wanted tonight. Biloxi police say 11 suspects were picked up in their city during the roundup. Well, 2 months into the new budget year, and Mississippi tax collections are higher than expected. July and August numbers show the state took in almost $27 million more than lawmakers banked. But House Appropriations Chair Herb Frierson says it's too early to know just what that means. He says it takes several months to tell whether there's a trend. The next big investment in Hancock County will be made at the Silver Slipper. Invitations went in the mail this week to the Silver Slipper Hotel's groundbreaking ceremony. The casino has new owners, and they're spending $17 million to build a new hotel next to their casino. The groundbreaking is 2 weeks from today. That's when we're told we'll get our first look at where the 140-room hotel will sit on the Silver Slipper property. Well, a Biloxi casino is making steady progress toward a complete makeover. Today, Golden Nugget opened Michael Patrick's Sports Cafe and Grill. We stopped by earlier today as employees were getting ready to greet the first customers. The new restaurant begins the second phase, a $100 million renovation underway at the casino.
It brings more people to the coast. I mean, ultimately, we got to get back to where tourism is the driver of business and economy on the coast. It has been for a long, long time.
The new restaurant is part cafe, part sports bar, and part 24-hour grill. Take a look at who dropped by Margaritaville in Biloxi today. None other than Jimmy Buffett himself. Buffett made a quick walk through the property with Margaritaville managers and Mayor A.J. Holloway to share his ideas for the hotel that's in the works. Architects are working on those plans right now. Construction could start by the end of the year. After stopping to shake hands and taking photos with customers and workers, he left on his seaplane. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mike Reeder for tonight's forecast.
Well, you know, we started out with we've had a hot week, and it looks like we're going into a hot and dry weekend. Why? Well, take a look at the satellite radar. Notice how everything is pushing south. That means we have high pressure building in, both at the surface and in the upper atmosphere. When that happens, folks, there's not much chance for rain. Now, as we take a look at WLOX 24/7 radar, we're scanning. We don't see much. Maybe a shower over here, but I don't think so. I think that over around Mobile is just ground return. So let's just say mostly clear and dry tonight. As a matter of fact, that's our forecast. We're looking for mostly clear, light, and variable winds. Not much wind out there at all. Temperatures overnight about 75 degrees. And oh yes, that time of year, so it's going to be humid. Now, as we take a look at things, dry weekend ahead, hot and humid, and we'll take a look at the tropics, what's going on in that neighborhood.
Thanks, Mike. The president will take his case on Syria to the American people, but tonight doubt is growing in Congress over whether an attack is the right move. Details straight ahead. And we'll show you the special training and skill it takes to be part of the National Guard's Special Forces team.
WLOX News at 10. Sponsored in high definition exclusively by Gardner Law Firm, the lawyer to call for bankruptcy and debt counseling.
Breaking news from Jackson County tonight. The Mississippi Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal accident on Highway 609 in St. Martin. The Highway Patrol tells us 2 pedestrians were hit by a vehicle and died. The accident happened at the Fort Bayou Road intersection around 9. Officials have released no other details, but state troopers urge motorists to avoid that area while they work to investigate this tragedy. As President Barack Obama heads home from Russia tonight, support for a military strike on Syria seems to be faltering. A survey by ABC News found 217 members of Congress opposed to a strike on Syria for using chemical weapons on its own people. Tonight, that number has grown to 225. The president is on his way back from the G20 summit in St. Petersburg, Russia. Tuesday, the president will address the nation in an effort to convince the American people that standing up against the use of chemical weapons is the right thing to do for the U.S. But today, he conceded that may be difficult.
It's conceivable that at the end of the day, I don't persuade a majority of the American people that it's the right thing to do. And then each member of Congress is going to have to decide if I think it's the right thing to do. He's
not saying whether he'd go ahead with an attack if Congress votes no. 150 National Guardsmen jumped out of helicopters today in the Gulf of Mexico to celebrate a big milestone. It's the 50th anniversary of the Guard's 20th Special Forces Group. Michelle Lady was among family and friends at the Long Beach Harbor who watched as the soldiers made a splash into the water.
For many, you couldn't pay them to jump out of a helicopter. But for these National Guardsmen, it's just another day's work.
You have a lot of freedom while you're in the air to take a look around. And that's really a perspective that you don't often get, even in a plane, because you're falling and you're sort of a little bit like one with nature.
This jump was special, though. 150 men jumped from 1,500 feet to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the National Guard's 2nd Battalion, 20th Special Forces Group. These soldiers deploy all over the world. Their main duty is to train foreign forces to defend themselves.
We've been used extensively in the war on terrorism, and it's the first time we've actually been used the capacity that we're capable of exhibiting.
These men are very modest. The Special Forces website describes the soldiers as quiet men who don't need to broadcast their deeds because their record speaks for itself. While they wouldn't brag, even on this day of celebration, the battalion commander did offer a little praise.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into this organization to make it successful. A lot of deployments, a lot of history, a lot of veterans that have given a lot for the success of this battalion to bring us to this point.
Despite the hard work, it's easy to tell these men love serving their country.
When it's not fun anymore, I'm going to retire, but this is absolutely the best bunch of soldiers in the United States.
Who gets to jump out of a plane into the ocean and get paid for it? I mean, there aren't too many job descriptions like that. You can be in the movies or an NFL player. None of those folks are doing this stuff.
In Long Beach, Michelle Lady, WLOX News.
And the National Guardsmen also have a big celebration going on this evening. Your chicken nuggets could soon be making a trip around the globe. Next on WLOX News at 10, why American-made chickens could end up on a boat to China before landing on your plate. Poultry is a multi-million-dollar business in Mississippi, but a new rule from the USDA is raising concerns. The Department of Agriculture recently decided to now allow chicken slaughtered in the U.S. to be processed in China and shipped back for you to eat. Problem is, you'll never know. Courtney Ann Jackson on how the plan is ruffling feathers.
Representative Tom Miles is calling foul on the idea of shipping chicken back and forth to China.
When we have Mississippi workers, Mississippi farmers that are handling our chickens, are handling and processing our food, it's just a sense that we're all feel safe with it because we know where the food's coming from.
Miles plans to introduce a truth in labeling bill next session. It would be similar to current law that requires origin labels for catfish.
When you walk into the fish restaurant, you see the sign that says this is Mississippi farm-raised catfish, that this is Mississippi processed and grown chickens.
He also looks at the label as a way of protecting the booming industry that much of the Magnolia State relies on, and his phone has already started ringing with questions.
They're just concerned of the unknown. They're concerned if what happens if our factory workers leave our town and we don't have anyone left in here in our towns.
But Mark Leggett, president of the Mississippi Poultry Association, says the state should be careful with stamping those labels.
Our concern would be first some type of retaliation by other countries that they would decide not buy our chicken.
Leggett says the growth of the poultry industry is going to come from overseas. Mississippi currently sells chicken to 77 different countries. He also stresses that the chicken going to and from China will be a small percentage of the industry.
It would be processed chicken. It's not chicken you would see in a tray in the Kroger. You wouldn't see a Mississippi chicken lying beside a Chinese chicken.
Representative Miles is concerned that this could be the start of a larger move of the poultry industry to China. He is hoping Mississippi can lead by example and pass the labeling bill next session. The state could soon take over 3 troubled school districts. Next week, the Mississippi State Board of Education will consider taking control of the Claiborne County, LaFleur County, and Yazoo City school districts. Takeovers typically follow state findings that schools are violating standards. Yazoo City and LaFleur County have scored poorly on state tests. Allegations of test cheating surfacing at one school in LaFleur County. The Friday Night Football Showdown is just minutes away, and week 2 of the college season has some good matchups. AJ steps in next with details.
For the 2013 season in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, Sunday at high noon, a date with NFC South Division rival Atlanta.
I'd say the fan bases are probably more at odds than the teams are, you know. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane.
I would say it's definitely going to have a playoff feel. You know, as far as in the dome, our fans.
Just division rivals. They don't like us, we don't like them.
Mike has your weekend forecast coming up next.
In the mud. Sounds like something a pig would do. Take a look.
I've done it.
You've gone 6 o'clock in the morning and wallow in the mud.
Yes.
Can you say?
It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike. Could the next Iron Chef be growing up in South Mississippi? Next, a celebrated chef shares his talents. An Iron Chef meets mini chefs. Today, Iron Chef judge, author, and acclaimed critic Simon Majumdar visited Lyman Elementary in Harrison County, where he held a sandwich making competition. Second graders worked to make healthy sandwiches and get some culinary tips from the Food Network star and his guest chefs. Simon was in town researching for his upcoming book about his journey to become an American. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can get WLOX.com anytime on our website.